Good evening, and thanks for watching tonight. I'm Todd Blackinton.
So it was the end of practice Tuesday. They were doing some conditioning. Ross had run up this hill onto this field, came to this point, called a teammate's name, and then collapsed right to the ground.
Good evening, and thanks for watching. We start tonight with an update to breaking news we brought you on KPVI News 6 at 6. Search crews are on the lookout right now for a hot air balloon that was seen by several people after it caught fire.
But the wind is blowing here, and there have been gusts. Doug Iverson tells me we should be expecting gusts of 35 to 50 miles an hour for the rest of the day.
Bob was only 1.5 credits short of graduating. The rest of the Sugar-Salem class of 2014 will get their diplomas on June 4th. Good story. A triumphant and defiant show of force by Vladimir Putin today as the Russian president showed up in newly annexed Crimea to celebrate what they call VE Day. New into the newsroom tonight, authorities say a New Hampshire police officer was shot and killed after he responded to a domestic disturbance at a home that later exploded and burned. The gunman is also presumed to be killed from the ensuing blaze. You see it right here. Attorney General Joseph Foster says 48-year-old Stephen Arkell of Brentwood, there's the explosion, wow. Brentwood was shot to death when he answered a call in a suburban neighborhood tonight. Well, a fight breaks out at a local high school cafeteria. It's all caught on tape. In some exclusive video we've got it from Highland High School, you see one girl approach a table where the other is sitting. What's difficult to make out, though, is how this fight, as the two end up on the ground, how it all gets started. But you see both participants throwing punches and then pulling each other to the ground until others come to intervene. A tornado that touched down yesterday in Sioux County, Iowa, was caught on the dash cam of a deputy sheriff's cruiser. So take a look at it. You can see a twister that's coming down out of the dark clouds. Officials say the tornado was on the, wow, there it is. It was on the ground for several minutes. No injuries reported, but several homes and farms were damaged. Yeah, then there's that. It was a close call for one Iowa police officer during a routine traffic stop. A 30-foot falling oak tree fell on Officer Jeremy Veach while he was talking to the driver of that minivan there. The officer had minor injuries. The driver was also okay. The minivan, as you see right there, sustained some mild damage. Video from the California Highway Patrol shows an apparent case of road rage. The driver of a pickup was angry at another driver for cutting her off. She pulled alongside the driver then to try to make a gesture and then lost control. That's what you see right there. The truck and the sedan go off the road. The truck flips over. Neither driver seriously injured. The driver of the truck could face serious charges, though, after an investigation. Well, a construction blast sent a giant boulder right there, comes crashing through right to the back door of that church. This is in Massachusetts. That boulder came just short, inches short of crashing into the building. The pastor of the church at Grace Ministries called it a divine intervention and believes the 20-ton boulder would have had no problem tearing through the church if it hadn't stopped just in time. To our top local story, Nora, now that also has some breaking news with it. Pocatello police, frankly, a lot of other people who have seen this story are trying to make sense of what happened at a gas station. It involves 3 men, 1 hatchet, and 1 punch. A strange encounter started at this gas station Tuesday afternoon.
Gnarly-looking gentleman that came around the corner here.
Witnesses say he first had a run-in with the store clerk.
I had my adrenaline pumping.
He swung his hatchet, piercing the stucco and the metal sign at the station before he ran into Troy and Melvin.
Oh, well, he just was kind of calling me racial terms.
And then things escalated.
And I was like, dude, you need to get off my property, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, I ain't looking for no problems.
After deciding to settle this odd dispute without the hatchet,
took the opportunity to hit his ass and knocked him out. I wasn't scared. You can't be scared in a situation like that.
The hatchet man lay there a few minutes before Troy then woke him up.
And I told him, I was like, you need to get off this property. We warned you. And now the cops have been called, so they're on their way. And once he heard that the cops were called, he kind of mumbled, so I need to run. And he got up and started going.
And here's what's left. A camouflage backpack, a hatchet, and the damage, as police try to figure out who the hatchet man is.
Okay, we're laughing, but it was a serious situation. Like, he was really swinging it at me, like...
And we just spoke with Pocatello police about 5 minutes ago. They tell us they have arrested the hatchet man. Don't have a name on the guy just yet, but he is at the Bannock County Jail. Look for an update on this story tomorrow. Good evening and thanks for watching tonight. We start with an exclusive follow-up to the tragic deaths of a local family. You'll remember over the weekend, Bill and Ross Parrish and two of their sons, Keegan and Liam Parrish, died of carbon monoxide poisoning. The two children who were not home at the time are serving as missionaries for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Sister Jensen Parrish was teaching in sign language in the Vancouver, Washington mission. Elder Ian Parrish was in the South Dakota Rapid City mission. I spoke to both of them today about how they're doing and what is helping them get through this heartache.
Well, first he was a redhead, and his face would get red when he laughed, so that was always the...
This is a light moment for Sister Jensen Parrish and Elder Ian Parrish as they describe what it was like when their dad laughed.
Like, he make no sound. You just hear him slap his leg and with a big smile.
And they smiled anytime they talked about their mom, dad, or two brothers.
My mom was so giving. She always gave.
He just had a sense of humor. He always wanted to be different from people, not to show off, but to let them know that he is a different person.
My little brother Liam, the youngest one, he was just so witty. Like, he didn't realize it, but he was.
For two adults who just lost their parents and siblings, their resolve is clear and evident. That strength is drawn from a deep well of faith, their own faith, and the faith of their family.
There's more to life than life, you know. There's more to this than this little earth that we all live on, you know. There's more to it.
Right now, part of this experience is that it's a time for me to recognize how meaningful the family really is.
Parents leave such a lasting impression on their children. Those impressions can be negative, but for Jensen and Ian, their parents gave them probably one of the greatest gifts a parent can give, the gift of self-worth.
I remember growing up, if I didn't do well in school, like if I got like a C on a test, my dad would be mad, and I was like, Dad, that was hard, but he's like, you're more than that. I know you can do better than that.
Jensen also received the gift of self-worth. During the insecure years of junior high, Bill Parrish explained that the world might have a distorted view of his daughter, like looking in a funhouse mirror.
And he pointed at my mirror and he said, you know, when you look in that mirror, you're exactly who you are. And that's how your Father in heaven sees you. And I will never forget that. Like, that helped me through so much in my life. You know?
Grief has overwhelmed so many in the days since learning what happened inside this home. But the comfort that can be taken from Jensen and Ian is that their outlook sees much farther than a faulty water heater.
This hard moment is a growing moment. I mean, that's the bottom line. It's what is necessary for me at this time. The reason for that, I don't know, but it's what I need, and I have the support to help me through it.
Knowing that love they had for other people, that is how we're going to have to do it. And I know that love comes from their love for the gospel and for the plan that our Father in heaven had for us. And so I know that because they believed it so much and so strongly, that they lived it through their love. And so that's what we're going to have to do. That's what we're trying to do. And it's really helped.
Funeral services for Bill, Ross, Keegan, and Liam are scheduled for tomorrow at noon at one of the LDS church buildings above Bart's Field on the ISU campus. As for returning to their missions, Ian and Jensen have not yet decided if they're going back. Not surprisingly, though, they say they will make that decision based on faith.
Last Friday night was the first game of the season for the American Falls Beavers. The team won, and wide receiver Ross Palmer was even in a featured picture in the sports section of the Idaho State Journal.
Also plays basketball and baseball, so he's very active and kind of accelerated at anything sports related.
And he's a three-way player at this school. I mean, he's a phenomenal athlete.
On Monday, the team had a hard practice. Tuesday's practice was focused more on teaching the kids. But by the end of practice, the football players, instead of being gathered around a coach, would be gathered around one of their own, praying. So it was the end of practice Tuesday. They were doing some conditioning. Ross had run up this hill onto this field, came to this point, called a teammate's name, and then collapsed right to the ground.
And so we immediately called 911. I got to him. I checked for a pulse and to see if he was breathing, and we had neither.
A heart that had helped Ross excel in sports had simply stopped. Coaches quickly and calmly started doing what they had been trained to do. They took turns doing chest compressions while checking for breathing and a pulse. Coach Patterson had also sent someone to get the automatic external defibrillator from the school cafeteria.
You open it up, you take the pads out, you put them on him, and you turn it on. And you push the red button, and he jumps a couple inches off the ground, and it was really scary. But immediately we got a pulse, and he started breathing on his own.
Oh, if it would have been 10 years ago or so when I played sports, I wouldn't have been able to make it, and because they didn't have that equipment there.
Yeah, grateful for the training, but like I said, I mean, it's the machine that does the work, and whoever invented that machine needs a pat on the back. And if I ever meet the guy, I'll shake his hand and and tell him thank you, because of him, we have Ross Palmer.
Ross was taken to the American Falls Hospital. He was then transferred to Portneuf Medical Center. By that time, he was conscious and giving a thumbs up to everyone who cared about him. Now, several days after the fact, Coach Patterson has a new message for Ross, for his players, and for anyone listening.
Yeah, he may never play football again. There's a lot more important things, or better things to come in his life that he's going to get to experience because of the different group effort by the people at this school and the school districts.
In American Falls, Todd Blackinton, KPVI News 6.